The energy shaping up around this full moon coming up on April 23rd in the sign of Scorpio is sure to guide us all into our own personal experience of shamanic initiation into our healed, empowered selves as we harness the power and inspiration of our true inner calling. This is a time of us stepping into our truth, taking our power back, revitalizing our inner spark. It's a time of establishing renewed, healthy parameters rooted in self-love. And ultimately, this is a time where we can all experience a boost in topics having to do with our finances, harmony, love, beauty, and business. This is what we're going to take a look at today. If you like this kind of information, if you love learning about astrology, then stick around. My name is Carrie Konyha, and I am a psychic reader, shamanic energy healing practitioner, and soul guide in Sedona, Arizona. I love working with astrology to help inform and guide our journeys in spiritual awakening, healing, and empowerment. I'm working with a little bit of a new format today that will be a little bit more interactive on the astrology level. I know that for me, when I watch astrology videos, I actually personally prefer to be able to view the chart of what's going on. It helps me to take the information in more. So I'm going to guide us all through that today. If you like this format, let me know in the comments below, and let's go ahead and dive in here. Start by going ahead and sharing my screen here. I've got the chart for the full moon. All right, and hopefully you can all see this chart here. And this is going to enable me to annotate as we're moving through in more of what feels like a live situation here. So we're going to start by taking a look at the full moon happening in the sign of Scorpio. So here's the moon right here in the sign of Scorpio. And the first thing I want to talk about is that this is the first main alignment that has happened between the moon and the sun since we had the solar eclipse in Aries a few weeks ago. So one of the main things we can feel into as we're coming into this full moon is what seems to be arising within our awareness based on whatever intentions you may have been setting around the new moon. This is a time of culmination of those things on one level, but let's also remember that each lunation, each new moon has a 6-month cycle where ultimately 6 months away from the new moon, we have a full moon in the same sign. So we're always working with cycles within cycles, but this full moon is pretty significant, being that it is the first major alignment that we have had between the sun and the moon since that eclipse. The sun and the moon are opposite each other right now. As you can see, there's the moon, and then the sun is here. Just recently moved into Taurus. We are officially in Taurus season now. And when the sun is in Taurus, we naturally feel guided to experience the sensualities in life. We want to be in a lush, beautiful environment. We want to share harmonious experiences with our friends. We want to share in celebrations that include healthy eating, good food, music, atmosphere, environment. And of course, summer is the season of that. We're going to be coming into summer soon. We're still just sort of halfway into spring. But let's delve a little bit more into these energies here. So we're looking into the moon. What does the moon represent? It's our inner nature. It's our emotional self. It's our deep unconscious mind. It's our intuition. And what does Scorpio represent? On one level, Scorpio is the energy of the alchemist. It alchemizes. Scorpio dredges up from the depths of our awareness that which we are ready to become consciously aware of, that is supporting our transformation, our evolution. Scorpio symbolizes symbolic processes of death, rebirth, And it's very connected to psychic ability. Whereas the ninth house, which is naturally ruled by Sagittarius, is connected to higher education, which includes spiritual ideals and life philosophies and studies. It's the eighth house that literally is connected to psychic ability, in addition to the 12th house can represent that as well. Anyway, so the full moon illuminates our awareness. Full moon in Scorpio is illuminating our awareness around anything that we've been unconsciously harboring or maybe even unconsciously avoiding dealing with. And with the full moon being opposed the sun further illuminates our awareness. So this is partially why I'm calling this full moon the moon of shamanic initiation. We're having our awareness illuminated as to whatever's been going on deep unconscious levels that in any way has been holding us back or restricting our growth and development or diminishing our energies in any way, especially because of this. Both the sun and the moon, both the sun and the moon are squaring Pluto. Now, Pluto, excuse me, I have a little itch here. Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. The ancient ruler of Scorpio is Mars, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a little bit. But Pluto is also the energy of transformation, evolution. And with both the sun and the moon making a square to Pluto, it's basically saying this is a big checkpoint. I look at squares as little check-in points for ourselves. It's a little bit of a point of navigation that we have to determine how to work with or work through. And the checkpoint or square to Pluto is saying the next step is evolution. Chances are we're all collectively going to be having awarenesses around things we've been carrying with us, deep within us, that are just not aligned with the direction we're going. For example, for those of us who are on a path, conscious path of evolution and awakening, in order to get to that next level of being in our healed and power selves, we can't really be holding in us shadow sides that we're unwilling to acknowledge simply because we don't want to have to deal with it. And I'm bringing that up because that really is the nature of the energy right now. Keeping something in your shadow side that you may even be somewhat aware of and not dealing with it because you don't want to go through what your mind might be telling you is an uncomfortability with alchemizing that energy will ultimately only serve to keep us stuck. It will hinder our evolution. So clearing away, releasing, finding a way to alchemize, meaning process and integrate and move beyond anything that's been kind of lagging in you on those deeper unconscious levels. This is a really powerful full moon and next several weeks to be really just making the decision to clear away those things. Sometimes when it comes to alchemizing these deep unconscious shadow aspects, it does not always require a continued effort in intense healing processes, especially if you've already been working on that. Sometimes it's just a matter of deciding, I'm done with this energy. I see how hanging on to this is no longer serving me. I'm ready to let it go. I'm ready to be free of it. In fact, it feels like look within yourself through self-reflection, meditation. What internal struggle are you ready to be free of? And this energy around this full moon is definitely supporting us all collectively and having that type of liberation. Now let's get into this a little bit more here. Let me scroll down so we can like look at this bottom part of the chart. So the other thing that everyone's talking about right now that just happened a few days ago on April 20th is we have this conjunction here between Uranus and Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. Now, Jupiter takes 12 years to go around the zodiac. So ultimately, it does come into a conjunction with Uranus every 12 years, but it's in a different sign every time. So the last time that it happened in Taurus was in 1941. And at that time, there was a lot of evolutionary, revolutionary things going on in the world that also coincided with warring going on. But here, I want to talk about the evolution, revolution energies as it relates to our personal development. So let's look at the planetary energies here. Jupiter is the energy of expansion, good fortune, growth. It turns whatever it touches into gold, so to speak. It's like the Midas touch energy. It's positive, supportive, growth oriented energy that supports our success, not just financial success, but success in the realm of a personal sense of fulfillment, reward, accomplishment, achievement, even in the realm of our personal growth. Now, Uranus is considered to be the higher octave of Mercury. It's higher mind. If Mercury is our thinking, communicating on the human everyday level, Uranus is those divinely inspired ideas. Uranus is our ability to access our higher self, access our spirit guides, channel higher guidance. And now let's look at this. First, let me say in Taurus, Taurus is earth energy. It's grounded. It's the I have. If Aries is I am, Taurus is I have. So Taurus is manifestation energy. Taurus represents things that have to do with our values, our possessions, how we make money. And so these are the things that are going to be highlighted for all of us collectively. And then the way that's going to be showing up for you individually is going to be connected to how it's showing up in your chart. But here's what I want to show you. This conjunction is going to be influential for quite some time. I'll talk about that in a minute. But look, it's making a trine aspect to Pluto. So as we are willing to go through that transformative alchemizing, processing, integrating of that old shadow stuff I already talked about, that's going to support us even further in coming into the renewal, positive blessings that we can attract to us through elevating our vibration, which is going to be the natural result of doing that alchemizing connected to this full moon. Now, this conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus is kicking off a brand new 14-year cycle. The last time this happened went between Pisces and Aries, and the last time it happened was in 2010. The time before that was in 96, 97. So look back at your life and see what was going on in your life during those times that felt like a significant new burst of growth or endeavor. For example, I'll share with me in 2010, I won a national belly dance competition. Some of you know I also teach belly dance. I was a professional belly dancer for many, many years. and I still perform occasionally, but mostly teach. So I won a national USA belly dance competition in 2010. Back when this happened in 96, 97 is when I opened my first office, like commercial space for seeing clients with my psychic reading work. Up until then, I had just been seeing clients at home. So I'm just sharing my experience with this to give you a little bit of a heads up of how you can look to see what was going on with you, and how, in knowing that, you can sort of anticipate and help co-create with the energy, utilizing the energy to support whatever your growth intentions are for yourself right now. Now, this conjunction between Uranus and uh, Jupiter is also making sextile aspects between Mars and Saturn in Pisces. Mars in Pisces is the archetype of the spiritual warrior, because Pisces represents our inner depth of spiritual self. It's connected to the unseen parts of life. Mars is the action, our drive. So we are driven right now, especially with Saturn being in the picture here, very closely aligned with Mars. We feel a responsibility because Saturn is responsibility. Saturn's also about time. More than likely, collectively, there's something that we're all going to feel like the timing is right for me to do this thing now that feels aligned with this deep inner calling that I've had going on for a long time, but haven't really initiated the process of creating, experiencing, or manifesting yet. So that Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, we're going to be really feeling that a lot. I would say all the way through the first half of May even, but then again, this is a 14-year cycle that's playing out, that's just starting now. There's a whole new evolutionary path of growth and development in ways that have to do with manifesting something, creating something based on however that's showing up in your chart. And then let's take a look at what's going on in Aries. We can see we have this whole stellium of planets, asteroids. The North Node is there as well in Aries. Aries is representative of who you are on the level of independence, how you like to initiate and take action, inspire others, how you like to vitalize your life. So we have Mercury there, we have Venus there, the North Node is there, and Chiron is there. As we've already been talking about, North Node in Aries right now is really calling us towards some type of initiation or initiatory energy, ambition, drive regarding what our deep inner soul calling is, because that's what the North Node is about. Mercury being present in Aries compels us to vocalize our truth. In the very least, speaking the truth to ourselves, right? I say this a lot. Speaking our truth starts with ourself, really tapping into your own deep, silent knowing. And there's a difference between your own deep, silent knowing and the parts of your inner self that might be coming from your woundedness, which is the alchemizing we're doing now, or your fears and things like that. Venus and Chiron are conjunct in Aries. Chiron in Aries is supporting us in coming out into our healed self, which is why I said that at the beginning of this video today, stepping into our truth, taking our power back, stepping into our healed selves. That's Chiron and Aries. Venus is further supporting us and coming into a harmonized alignment with that energy. So it's almost like we're no longer striving to get to that point. We are at that point, and we are fully ready to embody our healed self and be in the world and interact with the world from our healed self. Now, believe me, I am all about processes that support our healing journey, but we really are not meant to stay in this indefinite cycle of healing, healing, processing. Eventually, the goal is to experience healing. And the energy that is showing up now, it actually has been coming up to this point really since the beginning of the year, but it's almost at like this strong culmination period with Venus there, because in a few days on April 29th, Venus is going to enter into Taurus, which I'll talk more about in a minute. So Venus conjunct Chiron in Aries gives us all a radiant boost of harmonized energy connected to our inner soul beauty that supports us in just really calibrating into that healed self, embodying it, and feeling good about just being in that energy for ourselves as we are experiencing and interacting with life. And then the North Node in a conjunction with Mercury. On more of a everyday level, especially because Mercury is going to be direct on the 25th. Anything that you've been considering that has to do with your soul calling, that is connected to learning, education, teaching, sharing ideas, studying, communicating, or working on projects that literally have to do with somehow imparting information, anything that you've been considering along those lines, as Mercury is going direct on the 25th, is going to be a time where we feel like, okay, I'm ready to do this project. Again, any project that literally has anything to do with any form of communication, speaking, writing, listening, journaling. It can even be through creative projects, art, music, dance. Those are all forms of expression. And then I already talked a little bit about what's going on up here with Mars and Saturn, but what I didn't talk about is Neptune. Okay, Neptune is the natural ruler, the modern ruler of Pisces. And so it has to do with those same themes of our spiritual life, and it's very much connected to creativity as well. So this is really a time to pay attention to what your creative inspirations are regarding that sense of calling in your life, and just set some intentions for yourself to channel your energies in those directions. But really, on collective levels, the energy now is showing us that this is how we all are naturally feeling collectively inspired anyway. And so this is the time. If there's any projects you want to launch that are connected to your feeling of calling now, this is the time to do it. Anything that you initiate now in spring and summer are like the manifestation months. So anything you're initiating now and you have follow through with will bring fruitful results for you as we're coming into fall and winter. So I'm just noticing two other little aspects I haven't spoken of yet. Neptune is making a sextile aspect with Pluto. So again, that emphasis on transformation, spiritual alchemizing and transformation is what's needed in order for us to get to that next level of evolution for ourselves collectively. Individually, the more we each do to support our own journey in healing, like I've been talking about, we are in effect supporting the collective in that happening on more of a mass scale. And then here we have Venus, both Venus and Chiron squaring Pluto as well. Everything's pointing to Pluto just about. So Pluto's going to be stationing pretty soon. I did not look at the exact date, but it's within the next week or so, which means it's going to be starting to prepare to go retrograde again. This is going to be the last retrograde that we experience. And then when it goes direct again towards the end of this year, it's going to be staying in Aquarius for the next 20 years. In between, when it's getting ready to go direct or retrograde, that's considered to be like where you can access the most potent, pure energy of that planet. And we're coming into that energy with Pluto right now. It's pure, potent energy to support evolutionary transformation. And you can see how most, if not all, of the planets are aspecting that in some way or another connected. So hence, shamanic initiation into our healed, empowered selves as we harness the power and inspiration of our true inner calling. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and we're going to get into the all signs here. All right, here we go. So all signs, I'm going to be starting with Aries. And this is going to be most accurate if you know your rising sign. I'm going to be speaking to that, but you can also listen for your sun sign and your moon sign. Moon sign is more about what's going on internally. Your sun sign is more about how you're expressing yourself in life right now. And let's go ahead and dive in. I am going to be working with my, what is this deck called again? Oh, the Light Seers Tarot. I haven't worked with this in a few weeks here on my channel, although in real life I work with them every day, which, by the way, if any of you out there feel like you would want a session with me to help clarify your path through this, feel free to reach out, holisticspsychic.com. I see clients every day, which I love. It is my passion to support your journey. Okay, so I'm going to select a card for each sign here. Okay, so we're starting with Aries. And if your rising sign is Aries, then the full moon is happening in your 8th house of transformation, birth, life, death, renewal. And for Aries rising, the card that's coming up for you is the World card reversed. When the World card comes up, this is the energy of celebrating the achievement and accomplishment of some type of goal that has been long-term meaningful for you. That can be any type of goal, ranging from an interpersonal growth thing to an outer thing that you're manifesting. But when this card comes up reversed, it's like the energy of don't give up now, you're almost there. This is the energy of having perseverance. That's the message that is coming through for you. Persevere. It may be because it's in your 8th house of transformation. This might be that there's something that's been a little bit challenging for you to surmount or overcome or move beyond in the realm of your deep inner healing shadow stuff that we've talked about. But persevere, you're almost there. Take that plunge. It's going to be worth it for you to alleviate yourself from whatever's been burdening you and move on. You're going to feel like you're a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. So the next card I'm looking at here is going to be for Taurus rising. And if you are a Taurus rising person, then this full moon is happening in your seventh house of long-term partnerships. That can be connected to spouse type of long-term partnership, but it can be long-term partnerships as far as clients, and you have the Hierophant card coming up. The Hierophant card is the energy of being your own guru, trusting your own inner guidance. So regarding long-term partnerships, this is a time for you to be in your own self-leadership. It's a time for you to realize a wisdom teaching that I learned from one of my teachers is coming to me. And this teaching is this: we are responsible for the energy we embody. We're responsible for the energy that we project. We are responsible for our actions. We are responsible for what we say and how we say it. But we are not responsible for other people's perceptions. We are not responsible for how other people interpret our actions, our however we communicate. So as long as we are striving to be in as much personal integrity as possible, then, that is living in conscientiousness. And so this is a message that's coming up for you. If you are a Taurus rising and you're recognizing how this is significant for you in your life right now, let us all know in the comment section below. So next, we're going to come into Gemini. If you are a Gemini rising, then the full moon is happening in the sixth house of how you are of service, your health routines, your work routines, your wellness routines. And let's see what's coming up for you here. You have the Page of Cups coming up reversed. So in regard to your wellness routines, how you are of service, your work routines, with the Page of Cups reversed coming up, I would say this is a message for you to tend to your own self-care right now. It may be that you've been going full steam ahead and are becoming a little bit depleted and need to replenish yourself. So that's the message coming up for you. And now we're moving up to Cancer, Cancer rising. So if you're Cancer rising, this is coming, the full moon is happening in your fifth house of pleasure, creative self-expression, love, romance, and children. And the 10 of Wands is coming up. This is like drop that baggage. This is the energy, the message of not bringing old baggage into what's trying to be a revitalized path of pleasure and creative self-expression. Now, on another note, in the creative self-expression realm, being creatively self-expressive can be the thing that acts as a therapeutic catalyst, a cathartic catalyst for you in clearing old baggage that you're carrying around with you. The 10 of Wands is also an energy of establishing parameters and boundaries as well. So again, not running yourself ragged, and tuning back into what you need to feel revitalized and holding that space. Let's come into Leo. If you're a Leo rising, then the full moon is happening in your fourth house, which is the most private inner sector of your life. It relates to your home, your parents, especially mother in modern astrology. It's your roots, your ancestry, and the Lover's card is coming up for you. So this is you having unity within your own inner sacred marriage, as it's called in shamanic astrology, your own inner Venus and Mars, your own inner lunar and solar, coming into unity within yourself and making any significant life choices from that space of unity, because this card also represents on a 3D level, it typically means that there's a fork in the road and a choice to be made, which may have something to do with your home environment or something connected to your roots, your ancestry. So this is the message of any decision you're making for yourself, any action you're taking, anything you're involving yourself with, to do it from a space of wholeness and not a space of fragmentation. We're coming into Virgo. If you are a Virgo rising sign, then this full moon is happening in your third house of communication. And the third house is ruled by Mercury, which is also the ruler of Virgo. And so this is the archetype of the messenger for you right now. And the card that's coming up is the Seven of Cups reversed. When this card comes up, it indicates this is a time where you have a variety of potentials, options, and opportunities to select from. It's a time of reprioritizing for yourself and considering what is most important to you at this time. When this card comes up regarding the variety, the insight that I always give when this card comes up for clients, because it's the nature of this energy, because there's a variety to choose from, it's not rigid, black, white, all, nothing, one or the other. It's here's these several things that are important to me, and here's how I'm feeling guided to prioritize these things that I value. So when it comes up reversed, as it did, it's noticing where you have opportunity in the communication, sharing ideas, socializing sector of your life. It may be about dropping into more of a receptive perception and awareness will help you to gain clarity as to how you can be contributing to this area of your life. The third house is, again, sharing ideas, socializing. It can also rule things having to do with learning, studying, teaching as well. Let me know in the comments how this is showing up for you. If you are a Libra rising, this is showing up in your second house of what you value, what you possess, how you make money. And it's the Magician card. The Magician card in the tarot, as far as the hero's journey goes with the major arcana, this is the first step forward in the realm of embodied manifestation. It's where we become aware of being a conduit between cosmic energy and earth energy, channeling the energies of both realms. So since this is happening in your placement of what you value, what you possess, and how you make money, I feel like this is remembering, this is not you just being in your ego mind going at life alone. It's reminding you that you have access to higher realms of guidance and inspiration, and that you have the support of the earth energy. Living in alignment with earth and sky cycles and seasons of nature is your practice now. If you're a Scorpio, this is happening in the full moon is happening in your first house of self-identity. I am. And it's the Hermit card reversed. This is what this tells me. When the Hermit card comes up reversed, in this case, it can mean different things, depending on the surrounding cards and things like that in a full tarot reading. But what I'm tuning into in this instance for people who are Scorpio rising, to me, it feels like you've already been taking some time to go within and, connecting, healing, whatever you need to do, taking care of yourself. And now it's time to come out as your empowered self. As we talked about earlier, if you're a Scorpio sun, then this full moon is happening in the vicinity of your sun, which is also your self-identity. So this is like connecting with your deep, true self-identity and sharing that with the world right now. Let's move forward into Sagittarius. If you're Sag rising, it's happening. The full moon is in your 12th house. of unconscious mind, this house can also be about endings and letting go. Let's see what wants to come up. It's the Ace of Pentacles coming up reversed. When this card comes up, the aces always energize, activate, and power the energies that are connected to the suit. So the Ace of Pentacles activates things having to do with your sustenance, your stability, your support, your security. It's earth energy, so it's manifestation energy. Typically, this gives a little bit of a boost to the financial sector of your life and a boost to your physical health and well-being. When it comes up reversed, it's an invitation to receive the support of the universe. You might be a person who is always giving, 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 and it's time to allow yourself to be replenished with receptivity. I feel like one of the other signs had a similar message earlier, but for you, receptivity, receive the return of the energies that you've already set in motion in the realm of manifestation energy and increased health and well-being. And then if you're a Capricorn rising, the full moon is happening in your 11th house of social circles, groups, causes, friends, wishes, dreams, future, and you have the moon card coming up. What has been unconsciously compelling you in ways that are connected to your deep calling, urgings, longing for community? This feels like it's about listening to those urges, about cultivating community, community of friends, groups, causes, all the things that are connected to the 11th house. Pay attention to what your deep inner longings are and allow yourself to be open to making new connections along those lines rather than just being in the energy of longing for it. If you're an Aquarius, then the full moon is happening in your 10th house of long-term goals and career. And the Six of Swords is coming up. The Six of Swords represents a passageway from one experience of your life into another experience of life, but it can indicate being in a little bit of an in-between time of uncertainty where there can be the experience of living in some choppy energy, so to speak. But ultimately, the message and wisdom teaching in this card is about moving into calmer, peaceful times within your mind, clarity of mind. So clarity of mind is what you're moving towards in the realm of your long-term goals, career, and social standings within society connections. You coming into more peace and ease can be through having a mentor or a coach or a guide that you align with and are trusting in regard to your path forward. And then lastly, Pisces. If you're Pisces rising, the full moon is happening in your 9th house of higher education, spirituality, life philosophy, travel. And it's the Emperor showing up reversed. So I feel for Pisces, this is seeking inspiration from foreign cultures, ancient cultures, in the realm of life philosophies, in the realm of spirituality, especially because Pisces typically is really geared towards spirituality and creativity anyway. So gaining spiritual inspiration and creative inspiration through foreign cultures, ancient cultures, travel. And travel doesn't always have to be long distance. It can be just going beyond your usual little circle of life that you live in. It doesn't have to be long distance trips. It's just doing something out of the ordinary, getting out of your little habit and routine brings in inspiration for you. Speaking of inspiration, I want to remind us all that coming this fall, I'm going to be teaching my Art of Reading Tarot course. And if you think you might be interested in that course, then I'm going to recommend that you connect with me, send me an email through my website to get on the waiting list, meaning that you'll get an email with the information when the course is available. In the meantime, I would also recommend taking my currently available Mastering Intuition course online, especially if you are a person who is an evolutionary soul. You feel guided to work with your intuitive gifts in a way to support other people in their journeys of healing, empowerment, growth, and awakening, then I would recommend taking my Empowering Intuition course first. And that's going to really set you up for the most benefit out of taking my Art of Reading Tarot course. And then also this fall, I'm going to be teaching the Art of Psychic Reading course as well. I know that many of you who follow my channel here are people who consider themselves to be light workers and are on that path of being more involved. So I'm just letting you know of my offerings here that will help you along that journey. And I am going to go ahead and wrap it up here for today, everyone. But all my best to all of you. Much love, blessings, and I will see you in the next video.